Hey guys, let's have a discussion today about the Border Patrol Academy. Now, first, I don't want you to get it confused. CBP Academy is not the same as Border Patrol. This is the Border Patrol Academy overview, okay, just to get you guys ready. First thing is this, it's about 6 months, 117 days or 24 weeks, however you want to say it. It's about 6 months there. So let's get the overview first. It's going to be about knowledge-based information there for you, field-based scenarios, physical conditioning course, less lethal training, and self-defense. So let's get right into the physical aspect of the training there. You're gonna have a physical test, 1.5 miles in under 13 minutes. I do it myself. I'm in my 50s. That's easy for me to do. For you, it should be very easy. 1.5 miles in 13 minutes. That's almost a joke, right? You can do that for sure. You're going to do a confidence course, which is 2.5 minutes. You got to get it done in 2.5 minutes, okay? And last, you're going to have a 220-yard dash. You got to get that done in 46 seconds. They're for sure going to train you in firearms, small firearms, shotguns, and so on and so forth, right? Of course, you're going to get trained in all that stuff, so that's important as well. Driver training, that's a big deal. You know, you're going to have to learn how to drive that car tactically, defensively, and also offensively. They teach you all that. You're going to learn how to search vehicles. And also, too, the driver training, well, my best part when I was in the military was doing the pursuits. That's always exciting, you know, to learn how to do that. So you guys are going to learn all that. You know, it's very exciting to think about all the knowledge you're going to get in that short amount of time. It's pretty cool, I think, right? You're also going to get tactical training for things like tense situations, which, of course, that happens at the border. You know, you will get into tense situations for sure. You're going to have training for active shooters, which applies, of course, to your job as well down there. Also, you're going to have riot control training because riots do happen sometimes. And sometimes they may pull you to ask you to work somewhere else with riot control training as well. And then you're going to get into operations where you come across the technology of the Border Patrol. You know, the drones and using different types of software and just really cool stuff like that. You know, different computer platforms. You know, you're really going to get into the true heartbeat of the Border Patrol via the operation. So I think it's really cool. Now, one of the most important parts you really want to pay attention to is going to be the law part of training. I say this all the time because, know your immigration laws and know how to legally utilize your authority, right? And this is because you see on social media all the time, people in uniform either being ignorant of the law, therefore they're doing unlawful things, not understanding that everybody has a right to due process, regardless of what you hear on the social media sites, TV, whatever, computer, whatever you're hearing, everyone has due process. So you got to make sure you understand the law and how it pertains to you and how you enforce that law. That's very important, you guys, because you see all the time on the social media sites, men and women in uniform are doing things they're not aware of or they're ignorant of. So make sure when you are in class for training for this part, you got to pay attention, okay? You got to pay attention. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm going to read you a testimonial from Lewis. I was honestly terrified about the CBP structured interview. I had already failed once and I couldn't afford another setback. I just couldn't. Booking the one-on-one preparation session with you felt like a gamble at first, but it turned out to be one of the smartest investments I ever made. It cost me less than a pair of boots, which is very true, it does. Real practice, real feedback, and real confidence. During my actual interview, I knew exactly how to answer every question because I had already practiced it and I passed. Mitchell, you gave me the most realistic experience I've ever had with an interview. You understood what the mission was and you gave it to me. I also want to tell people out there who might be listening to this testimony is that this is me, Lewis. I am now a CBP officer serving my country and building a career that I'm proud of. I do want to warn you. He wants to warn you guys. Yes, the one-on-one is for 1 hour, but Mitchell always goes over to 1.5 hours. And plus he does 3 follow-up calls, which is true, guys. I have never had a 1 hour session. It always goes longer, 1.5 hours, sometimes two. It doesn't matter. As long as you guys get the information, I feel you can do it, then we stop at that point. Before that, if I don't feel you're confident yet, we'll keep on going. And he's right. I do 3 follow-up calls at least to make sure you're ready for your interview. That's very important to me. So this is for Lewis, okay? Because you guys, if you don't pass that interview, you have to wait 6 months to do it again. And 38% of people don't come back because they are so disillusioned. This is why I do what I do. You're also going to have 182 hours of Spanish language instructions. That's almost a whole week, so it's going to be really good for you to learn some stuff there, learn how to speak Spanish because, well, probably over half of your clients are going to be people who speak Spanish, so that's how that works, right? So that's kind of the overview there. Some things may have changed a little bit, but not really. So 1 month before you go, you're going to get a letter from the Border Patrol saying, welcome you and blah, blah, blah. But then 2 or 3 days before you go, you're going to get a pre-orientation letter. So you want to come into orientation a few days before you start. Now, I want to tell you this, guys, is that the best way you can prepare for your academy in Artesia, New Mexico, is to make sure you are physically fit, okay? Because the physical fitness should just be a natural thing for you. I don't want you to, if you're struggling over the physical fitness part and the mental training and the testing and so on and so forth, you're gonna have a hard time. Get into shape now. I don't not mean like the Hulk, but get into shape now because you want the physical fitness portion to be no big deal for you. Just because you need to focus on the other aspects because you are going to go through some rigorous, intense, focus type training. And I don't mean physical, I mean mental, right? Because they are trying to morph you into from a civilian mindset into a paramilitary mindset. And that takes time. So just be prepared for a rigorous, intense type training in your brain, right? So get the physical stuff done, of course, right? So what are the hours? Monday through Friday from 07:30 to 4:30, I believe still. Weekends are still your time. That's how it was the last time I was told. So 7 to 4:30 is your deal. Will you get paid? Yes, you get paid your normal rate for training, okay? And when you're done with your training, you get 40 hours if you want to take time off to see your family or just take a break, whatever you want to do that is available to you if you want to do. For this part of the video, and this comes from my personal experience when I was in boot camp for military police. This part is important for you to understand from someone who's been there, and it goes across any kind of training. It doesn't matter what kind of training you go to. It's important to have your home life secure before you leave. And by that I mean you cannot have a drama type partner. You cannot have people who want to call you every day, say, hey, what's up? You don't need none of that. Tell your friends to shut it down until the weekends. Don't call you at all. And your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you want to call them, I don't care. They have to be able to function without you being there all the time because you are entering into not a job, but a career, a very important career. And that career change takes respect of your time, respect of your training, and the understanding of who you are, who you're trying to become, okay? Because the person who is still in your orbit, they don't know you're morphing, and you're going to morph in 6 months. For sure you're going to morph. But they have to be a stable person with their own interests and so on and so forth. You cannot be there 100% because then they can't function without you. You're going to get a lot of calls every day. You'll get texts, who knows, whatever, right? It's going to distract you, right? And then you're going to become part of the 42% who fail the training down there. Yeah, 42% fail. So you have to make sure whatever love life you have, married, not married, whatever, whoever your partner is, they need to be stable, not hammer you every day for nonsense on the phone or text, whatever. They have to have their own life for that 6 months, okay? Or at least until the weekends, all right? But the better it is for you to have a stable person, the better it is going to be for your outcome at the academy. Years ago, when I had a girlfriend, she was stable throughout my whole time. Wrote me letters all the time, and just really supported me all the time. And that was nice because I saw a lot of guys who didn't have that. They had these crazy partners who were doing weird things and writing crazy letters all the time. It was bad. Those guys always watched out. They couldn't stay focused. They watched out easy because their partner wasn't focused on them, and drama, so on and so forth. So I always tell people that to make sure you have a good partner who supported you at home. So let's get to some questions I get for you guys sometimes. So, is the training for Border Patrol mandatory? Yes, it's mandatory for every single Border Patrol person, of course. It is mandatory. How intense and structured is it? It is very intense and it's very structured. Now, if you're coming from a military background, it might not be as intense for you, but you still know it's intense and structured. If you're coming from a civilian background, it might be even more intense and structured, but that's what you want when it comes to the job. You talk about early mornings, physical fitness, tactical training, mental training, learning things, right? So it's a lot, right? Do you live on campus? Yes. Do you live on campus in dormitory housing? Yes, you do live on campus dormitory housing. Usually it's one person per room, which is nice, of course, and you stay there for the entire period. Sometimes they may have you double up, and once in a blue crazy moon, they might have you not be on campus for some reason or whatever, right? But most of the time, yes, you are on campus. You are there in the fray, in the mix of it at all times, because it just helps to develop you. It helps you to get, to know who your partners are out there, to know who your fellow colleagues are out there, It's just better to keep you there, to help with the mind training and everything else, right? Gets you in that Border Patrol mindset, right? How often must I participate in physical fitness? Physical fitness is every day in Border Patrol, okay? In the Border Patrol, it is just a part of the everyday training. You're going to have some physical fitness. Will I learn about federal laws? Yes, you will. You will understand your basic federal laws. Now, they also expect you guys on your own time to learn about the federal laws too, but you will learn about federal law in the academy because you are the one out there who's going to represent the federal side of the government, right? You're a Border Patrol agent. So there is some level of expectation that you by yourself out there at some post will be cognizant enough to understand the limitations or the power of your job via the federal laws as they apply to people you encounter. Understand? So yes, you're going to definitely learn some of that. Will I learn about firearms and training? Yes, you are going to learn a lot about the firearms and a lot about different types of firearms, from the long guns to the short guns, how to disassemble them, how to assemble them again, right? Very important, You don't want to carry around a firearm you cannot break down in 10 seconds to put back together again. It doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, you're going to learn that, but also too, you're going to learn about defensive tactics, less lethal, right? Hand-to-hand combat, all that kind of stuff you're going to learn because you might not always have your service weapon with you at all times. Something may happen, right? So you got to learn how to defend yourself without it. Or a better option, instead of going to lethal, you're going to go to non-lethal, less lethal, self-defense, right? They want to give you a lot of choices before you have to go into the lethal framework of mind, okay? So I'm excited. What kind of training will I get that's realistically based? Good question, right? That came from Charlie out there, by the way. I see you, Charlie, from Minnesota. So you're going to get, you're going to simulate border stops. Now, who does that to you guys all the time? I always give you those kind of questions, right? If it's for you have taken my test, those 700 of you taken my test so far, I ask, oh my gosh, probably about 40% of my tests consist of those scenario-based questions. And the reason why I do that is because the real test does that. But also number two is because in the interview phase of your training here, an interview phase of your process, they too are going to ask you real scenario-based questions. That's why I pepper you guys all the time. Almost all my videos have that in there, the link to the test, because I want you guys to take my pre-test before you take the actual test. That's what it's all about. Anyway, so yeah, you're gonna have border stops, you're gonna have searches, arrests, and use of force, all sorts of stuff, right? But all these things are designed to test your judgment. That's what it's all about, right? And so it's exciting. It's a learning curve too, but it's really good stuff you're going to learn. You have very competent people there teaching you, people who have been there and done that, who are going to show you how to do it, So it's exciting, a little scary, but go for it, right? Next question is, what is the tolerance policies at the Border Patrol Academy? So what do they mean by that? Well, they don't tolerate any kind of misconduct, any kind of failure to meet their standards. But listen carefully, what they really don't tolerate, listen carefully. Lack of honesty. I say this in every video. They want integrity-filled people. And you're probably saying, well, Mitchell, why do you say that all the time? Because listen to the practicality of your job. You guys are in a position where you could possibly even abuse your authority. You're also in a position where certain cartels, whatever, could maybe ask you with a certain amount of money to give to you to let vehicles go by, to let people go by, things of that nature, right? Your job, your career is susceptible to possible bribery type behaviors. The only deterrent against that, or the best deterrent against that, is to have an integrity-filled agent. Understand? There must be a pride in work, a pride in the career, a pride in what you're doing. All those pride and work and focus and integrity is a defensive against bribing or stuff like that. This is why they hammer home all the time the integrity part. Now, they might not tell you. They might say, you got to be an integrity-filled person, sure, but that's the reason why, you guys. You see, that's the reason why they have those things. It's the reason why, too, you see police officers nowadays, they wear body cams, not just because, people want to see what happened at a stop or whatever, or to bear a witness, right? It also lessens or deters bribing situations because, yes, they wear cameras, but people out there also too know they wear cameras, right? Which makes them more bribe proof, right? 100% no, but it makes them more bribe proof. So anyway, back to what I'm saying. They push the integrity for a number of reasons, but that's one of the main reasons why. They don't want you to fall victim to things like that. Therefore, they keep pushing the integrity on you. You feel like an honest person. So, well, I'll be around other trainees all day, and why is that? Well, yes, you're going to be around other trainees all day. And the reason why is what I learned in the military as well in boot camp is that because you're going to build bonds, some are going to be lifelong bonds. You're going to have to understand how to work as a team because the Border Patrol is not just a single person type job. You're part of a team. You're part of a bigger unit under the umbrella of CBP. So teams, right? So you're going to learn how to deal with other people, how to make bonds, how to work with teams. I mean, it's all there, right? Because Border Patrol is a disciplined law enforcement environment. It just is. It's a paramilitary law enforcement environment. You guys are enforcing laws. You are armed. You have to use the Constitution and things like that. That makes it a very professional environment because you are professionals. So therefore, you have to work with other professionals, right? So yeah, you're going to do that for sure. Last one, what is a graduation like? It's awesome. The graduation is a day of pride, a day of, I made it, It's a day of you have just accomplished something huge. It's a huge thing for you. So it's a big day. You invite everybody you can, right? And you go down there and you go down and enjoy yourself, and it's just really great. It shows you have made it through all this work and the sweat and the tears, and honestly, it's a big deal. It's an acknowledgement of your accomplishment, right? A tiny minority of people in the U.S. have accomplished what you have accomplished. It's a great thing. It's a great thing, And so I want you to know that I support you 100%. I really believe in what you do. Obviously, I'm by myself, but I've made 70 videos already, So I've been doing this for 5 years, I've been increasing my videos now to do more BP and CBP videos. Anyway, I believe in you guys. And so I support you. Any comments down below, no problem at all. You can always email me at mitchjeducationhub@gmail.com. If you guys want one-on-one interview training, I can do that for you as well, the link below. If you want to take my pre-test, for sure, 115 hard-hitting questions with over half of it being situational. This one is probably my most popular. People really love it because it really prepares them, because I have the receipts. 91.3% of people who take my pretest pass the actual exam. 91.3% pass the actual exam who take my pretest first, okay? You guys, I wish you the best. I hope I answered a lot of your questions, and you guys take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.